In this lesson, we'll discuss how to find the domain of a composite function. The question reads, let f of x equal to this expression and g of x equal to this expression. Find the domain A, f composed of g at x. F composed of g means that we will be placing the function g of x, whatever it is, this expression, inside wherever we see x's in f of x. So we have one x right here, and I'll place this expression totally into there, where we have f composed of g at x is equal to negative 10 over the square root of 5 minus x minus 4. And what we're expected to do from here is find the domain. Essentially, we are looking for restrictions. And since we're dealing with a fraction, remember fractions cannot have denominators that equal to 0. So the very first thing that I will do is set the denominator only to not equal 0. So I have the square root of 5 minus x minus 4, and this cannot equal to 0. And I'll solve this just like any ordinary equation. I'll bring negative 4 over. That's my first step. And subsequently, since I'm looking for x, I need to remove these square roots. So I'll square both sides. That's the opposite of square root. And I have 16 on the right side, and on the left side we have 5 minus x. One more step, I'll bring that negative x over and this 16 over, where we have 5 minus 16 cannot equal to x. And that results into negative 11. So one of our restrictions is negative 11 cannot be x. We will use these restrictions to come up with the domain soon. Now, another thing about this expression is that we have a square root. And within the square root, the radicand, this part inside, cannot be less than 0. So I'll set 5 minus x must be greater or equal to 0. And I'll solve for x again. So I'll take this negative x over. That makes it positive x. And we're left with x must be greater or equal to 5. Now, if we were to place both of these restrictions on a number line, and remember what number lines look like, we have 0 in the middle, x needs to be less than or equal to positive 5. So here is positive 5, and x values can be anything from here to there. That is according to this restriction alone. In this restriction, we cannot have x being negative 11. So somewhere along the line here, negative 11, we will have a hollow circle. So our domain has to be values that go to negative infinity all the way to negative 11. And since it can't reach negative infinity, I'll place parentheses, this symbol, this round bracket. And it cannot reach negative 11 either. So I'll place round brackets as well. And that is in union with everything to the right of that. So negative 11, it can't be negative 11, so we're using the parentheses, all the way to 5. It can be 5, so I'll use square brackets. Now we have to do the same thing, but for g composed of f. If you'd like to see the answer to question B, make sure that you watch part 2 of this series where we cover its solution. Hope to see you soon.